Hello dear partners and friends. This is a translation of a webinar by the very developer of BIOMEDIS company, Sabuhi Sharifov. We would like to present our new product today, which we have been developing and testing for a long time, NEOGEN technology. You can see how the device looks like on the picture. Why NEOGEN? You all have watched the Matrix trilogy. In 2018, our innovative device was Trinity. Why the name was Trinity? Because there were 3 sources of radiation, 3 carrier frequencies, and the same name had the protagonist of the Matrix movie. The second protagonist is Neo, so we decided to proceed with this concept and name our new device NEOGEN. Neo is the protagonist's name and Gen means generation of signals. And under the picture of Morpheus, we see a question mark. This is a kind of intrigue. In the future perspective, we will have another device. NEOGEN is a transceiver device which allows to impact the functional state of the body with the help of biological feedback. We have been working with the biological feedback technology for a long time. This technology is implemented in Trinity. It means it does not only emit the signal, but also it receives the signals. Trinity receives the signals from the body and then adjusts to them and starts operating individually based on the received information. And during the course of therapy, there are made slight corrections of the carrier frequencies. And this device operates completely based on the feedback. What does the biological feedback mean? So it receives the biological signals emitted from the body. From bioresonance, we know that there are 2 kinds of therapy. Exogenous therapy. This is a one-way therapy when the source of radiation is electric or electromagnetic or magnetic field. The device takes the parameters of the body only once and impacts the organism based on the parameters taken from the beginning. This device is an endogenous kind of therapy, when there are used the biological rhythms, signals that are emitted from the body. I would like to read a quote of Sergei Zaguskin. This is one of a few people that have been working in this field. In conventional physiotherapy, there are fixed frequencies of exposure used, which is inadequate for any biorhythms. Non-linear oscillations from intracellular processes to the organism with constantly varying periods. Constant carrier frequencies and modulation frequencies in the majority of manufactured physiotherapy devices are selected based on the convenience of circuit solutions. Herewith, the mechanisms of physical impact on the cell, the rhythms, phases of energy supply of feedback responses, the initial state of the cell, tissue, organ, and organism are not taken into account. The universal acceptor of all external influences is not taken into account. The hierarchy of periods, of phases, rhythms, of sol-gel transitions in cell compartments, which determine the change in the concentration of calcium in the cytosol and coordination with microcirculation rhythms without disturbing osmotic gradients. The homeostatic properties of biosystems, the perturbation regulation, in which not only the value but also the sign of the response depend on the phase of the biorhythm, are not taken into the account. In easier words, let us imagine the moving swings. Each few seconds, when the swing comes towards you, you need a slight effort to push it and enhance its movement. Let us imagine that you have your eyes closed and you are told to slightly push the swing every few seconds. But if a person makes this push in the wrong timing, when the swing is on the opposite side, there will be no result. The frequencies seem to be the same, and the hand of the person pushes with the same frequency as the swing, but the phases do not match. Accordingly, the effectivity of such resonance impact will be zero, even if the frequencies are the same. So, as a basis of our technology, we took this thesis that everything must be in time and match not only in frequency, but also in phase. The interaction between the user and the device. The application of the biological feedback mode is implemented in two ways. There are the electromagnetic feedback and audio feedback. When we say the electromagnetic feedback, it means that the field emitted by the device gets into the organism, gets reflected from it, gets certain modulation, and then re-radiates you back. I will tell you later how it happens. And audio feedback is carried out with the help of a microphone inserted in the device. A person with his/her own voice modulates the parameters of radiation of the device. The device is very easy to use. One does not have to select any programs, upload anything. One just turns it on, selects a corresponding mode, presses OK, and the process is on. A few technical moments. In this technology, we use ultra-short impulses. As a carrier frequency, we use the ultra-short impulse. I will try to explain. When we talk about the previous devices, the carrier frequency has a harmonic signal. The sinusoid has a certain period, certain frequency, and the radiation is carried out precisely on this frequency. When we talk about electromagnetic impulse, the impulse has a certain time duration, and its duration determines its spectral parameters. And the shorter the impulse, the wider its spectrum. For example, the impulse has the duration of 10 picoseconds. It is shown in the upper picture. 10 picoseconds give us the spectrum of width of about 100 gigahertz. What does it give us? On the right, I schematically drew a cell. The nucleus is inside, cytoplasm, membrane, and the average size of a cell is from 10 to 120 micrometers. So, the width of wave, let me explain. So, the electromagnetic impulse moves with the speed of light, 300,000 kilometers per second. Accordingly, if the duration of impulse is 10 picoseconds, then it's easy to calculate, and we multiply time on speed, and we have a path that this wave will travel. The impulse of duration of 10 picoseconds will travel 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters combining with the size of a cell are 1,000 times more. When the electromagnetic field penetrates the cell, we need a certain part to be outside of the cell and some part inside of the cell. For what? To have the difference in potentials in membrane so that the cell can mechanically vibrate. We knock on this cell, let us say. What we get? The dielectric permeability of cellular environment. After a long time research, we came up with the conclusion that it's about 200,000, and the wavelength after getting into the environment changes to a square root of epsilon of the environment. And the impulse shrinks and is 6 micrometers, and this is commensurable to the size of the cell. And we see when such impulse passes through the cell, on all 4 pictures we can see its way. The cell itself constantly undergoes the differences of intensity of electrical field. In the different points there is a different intensity, and it leads to mechanical deformation of cell's surface. This is the most important moment. To compare, I will show you another slide. If the impulse was 10 nanoseconds, there would be no use from it. Why? Because with 10 nanoseconds, the wavelength is 3000 millimeters. It's 3 meters. And these 3 meters, when getting into the intercellular environment, shrink. so its length becomes about 6 millimeters, and such field passing through the cellular structure, we can say that the difference of this field is almost absent or it's minimal. That's why the cell will not react to such electromagnetic impulses. This is the most important moment in this technology. This is the use of ultra-short, ultra-wideband impulses. What happens? Everything in our body consists of cells. All diseases are about the integrity of the cell. If there is any functional disease or disorder in the body, it is anyways reflected on cell membrane, either in nervous fibers, brain neurons, organ tissues. There will be affected cells. And the point of the therapy is to restore the cell membrane. I showed the cellular structure on the picture. The cell's membrane is defective, it tries to function somehow. If the energy of the body is enough, the immunity allows to, then other cells help the defective cells to function. They share the energy with them and the cell gradually restores. But if there is a lack of this extra high frequency energy in the body, then the cell does not have chances to survive. In this case, the external energy resource is added, the neogen technology. This device allows to provide this extra high frequency energy to the cell, to make the cell vibrate. And as a result, it leads to the restoration of the cell and the cell starts to function normally. The disease of the body is the disease of the cell, and if you restore the cell, the disease disappears. There is no carrier frequency in this device. There is a range of ultra-short impulses. If we talk in the spectrum range, what is the frequency range? Then we can say from 0 to about 120 GHz if we try to talk about the carrier frequencies. All the systems and organs are under the control of nervous system. But who controls the nervous system? I asked myself this question and I asked others. The brain controls the nervous system, but who controls the brain? Who makes these controlling impulses appear in the brain? Even consciously, when a person has an intention to make a physical action, then how does this intention become an electric impulse? And it turned out that this is our spirit that is in control of us. The brain transforms our intention from the more multidimensional world in the physical, more solid world into an electromagnetic impulse which through the brain, with the help of meridians, through the channels, get through the whole body. What I wanted to say when I spoke about your spirit is if you intend to commit something, whether it's a physical action or plans for the future, you intend to create something, no matter what it is. You have an intention. And as soon as you have an intention, there appears a weak electromagnetic field in your body. And you don't achieve something in seconds. We want a lot of things simultaneously. If we want the same thing for a long time, finally we get it. So there appears a weak electromagnetic field. Then the closer the goal is, you receive this confirmation that you do a great job and you are approaching your goal, and finally your thought becomes something real, something material. So we can use Neogen in the mode of electromagnetic feedback. The signal emitted from the device getting to the body, on each border of the organism environment sections, it gets reflected. On the skin surface, the air and the skin have different density, different electrical permeability, so layer after layer the signal gets reflected from skin, subcutaneous, muscles, etc. Getting into the scalp, the same thing, it gets reflected. From all the structures where the density differs, From all of them, the signal gets reflected. And the reflected signal gets the organism parameter. So it obtains all the information from the body. And since we're a living organism, the heart beats, we breathe, the blood flows, etc. All of this work is reflected in the electromagnetic signal. This reflected signal gets into the transceiver, and there, from this frequency, the ultra-short impulse is taken out, but if originally it was in the shape of a needle when emitting, and when coming back its shape obtains some relief. And in this relief, the dynamics of change of this relief contains all this rhythmic activity of the body. It gets back to the transceiver. These parameters are taken, and with these parameters, the emitted signal is modulated, and the chain of a positive feedback is closed. Positive doesn't mean good or bad. It means that there is a system of automatic control with the positive feedback. Positive feedback usually ends up with a passing to the generation mode. So when we consider a human and the device as a single system, then it is such a generator. And if you had a weak intention, and it is enhanced by this generator by a billion times, and accordingly, when we take those processes that you aimed to achieve, the speed of their achieving increases. You can achieve your goals faster. It's such a magic wand. The only moment is that you need to be careful. You can have any wishes related to health, wealth. Your wish should not contradict with the universe energy, to not receive a, let's say, backlash. One needs to work with this device. It's not like one turns it on and puts it and it works by itself. One needs to put an effort, at least for a short period of time at the beginning. When you turn on the device, you need to concentrate. You put it in your palms according to the instructions, and you need to, let's say, meditate for a few minutes with the device in your hands. And you will notice the difference. The changes will come. For each person, these changes will occur differently, but they will occur anyways. The second mode is audio feedback. This is a voice feedback. It's not a secret that if we consider our body as a huge hologram, the essence of a human is all reflected. For example, some specialists can make a diagnosis just looking at your tongue. Experienced doctors can understand the problem just looking at your appearance, and so on. The voice apparatus is one of the most ancient things. Also, security services use the lie detectors, banks use the voice parameters during the calls, and so on. And in our technology, we apply this mode of audio feedback. When our voice coming through the microphone gets enhanced, and then, in a certain way, it gets split up to be understandable for the cells, and then gets modulated and is emitted to the body. So our intention expressed through our voice comes into the device. We send the voice to the device and receive the biological feedback in shape of electromagnetic field. The important thing is what exactly you put into your words, what information you put in it. Cells feel the acoustics. Actually, all of these electromagnetic waves at the end, in the intracellular environment, they are transformed into the acoustic oscillations, but of very high range. So the cell hears everything. And with the help of Neogen, this interaction with your own body happens much more effectively. For example, you can use affirmations when working with a device. There are many methodologies, and one can choose any affirmations one needs. Also, it can be either a wish or intention, and it should be pronounced in the present time. You need to say them like this wish has already happened. Also, don't forget to express your gratitude. This is the principle of the second mode of Neogen device. I showed how the device and the human unite in a single organism. When you turn it on, take it in your palms, it emits beep sounds for some seconds, and then as soon as it connects to you, you will see that the device is working on the display. And there appears a single field, human and the device. During the work, you become a single organism. This device is like a genie from the bottle. You wish, you intend, and the device enhances it. Its aim is to enhance your own field, and accordingly, you are inside of this field. You feed up yourself with energy, you solve your inner problems, your physiological problems, and also you broadcast your wish, your intention to the whole universe. The cells receive the electromagnetic energy. This device has complex impact on the body, on cellular, molecular levels. When we talk about the molecular level, we mean that mostly the impact is carried out on the water structure, on its structuring. This is a very effective instrument for water structuring. And the most important level is the functional level. The principal point of this feedback is to adjust to your functional rhythm. Another few words about how to work with a device. When I say work, it means that you need to study yourself, understand yourself, and be aware of what you're doing. Nobody else does it for you, but you are the one who does it. You are the only reason of everything that is happening in your life, in your body, and you are the only person that can help you. It is very important to understand. You take the enhancer device, you enhance everything you do, and you need to understand it. From the technical point of view, the device can cause interferences in the work of Wi-Fi, for example. If you place your device near your mobile phone, the phone will not catch the Wi-Fi connection, and the same thing happens to TV antennas, etc. So when working with the device, it is recommended to be as far as possible from the sources of radio emission, routers, household gadgets, etc., because there will be interferences and the work of these gadgets will have an impact. Also, you need to be alone in the room, especially when a person has any tumors. There should be no rotating subjects like ventilators near you, like also an air conditioner, any mechanical moving subjects, because it is also a certain rhythm that will disturb the work of the device. Fluorescent lamps as well. We don't see how they vibrate, but there is a charge of 50 Hz. It also has impact. Just stay as far away as possible from all mentioned above when working with the device if you want it to be effective. And the same thing with the audio mode. The device must only hear your voice. The device can be used by anyone, and also if you don't have an opportunity to be isolated in a separate room, then place the device as close to you as possible, that it's not located 1 meter away from you and at a distance of 1.5 meters there is another person. Just avoid the situation like that. So you can also place the device as close to your body as possible. Hold it in your palms or put it on your belly. How many sessions per day and what should be their duration? There is no any certain rules. If you have time to lie with this device for a whole day, then it's fine. If you have 5 minutes, then it's also okay. There is no contraindications. You need only to rely on your feelings. With the first application, there can be sharp sensations. You can have unusual dreams after that, and when waking up, you will feel differently. A lot of people feel it in their bodies. The only contraindication for the usage of this device is the presence of any electrical implants in the body. If you have an animal near you, the thing is that if it's your pet, it's anyways in your energy field. It's like your energy copy, so there is no problem. This device helps with any diseases. We already have great results. As I have already told, the device has been tested by people and the results are very quick. Extremely low intensity wideband electromagnetic radiation of extra high frequency range leads to the production of biologically active substances by the body, endogenous drugs in unique compositions and concentrations necessary for the optimal recovery of a particular patient. This radiation has a normalizing impact. So I understood one thing, that the main impact is on the brain structures, where they start to produce its own opiates, its own endogenous substances. These are the genetically laid down restoration mechanisms. When a patient goes through a radiation therapy with a third or fourth stage of cancer, in such cases the effectiveness of such device is very high. As I have already told, at the beginning of the device application, there appears a certain responsiveness of sensory reaction, subdivided into local, systemic, general, chills, tingling, numbness, fever, changes in the emotional background, lethargy, etc. As the Neogen device is used and the condition improves, the intensity of sensory reactions in the body decreases and then completely disappears. This way, the main goals of Neogen technology are restoration of a human as a whole, health improvement, regeneration and rejuvenation of the body and cocoon, restoration and disclosure of primitive skills and abilities, including those considered superpowers that were originally genetically in us. More broadly, Neogen technology aims to help people awaken their nature and become a human as an independent developing unit capable of creative self-expression. We are creators, we are capable of everything, and each of us is a genie. We were just told by the society that this is possible and this is impossible, you can't do this, you can't do that. And in time, these abilities faded, but they didn't die. We still have them. And with the help of Neogen, each and everyone can reveal these abilities. Even a completely healthy person can use this device to reach goals in life, in career, and in personal life. So it was all for today. Thank you very much for your attention. And we wish you good luck and stay healthy.